the sort of studying of type 2 diabetes has been part of my life for the last 2 years, actually, and being in podiatry wards and travelling to Mexico, where the worst type 2 diabetes is on the planet. And it's nearly 10% of the whole NHS budget. So if you talk to, you know, Simon Stevens that runs it, you know, we want to stop people going to hospital. Yeah. And so diet-related disease is one of the most incredibly efficient killers in the country, and the volume is extraordinary, and of course, more than just living or dying, we want people to be healthy and prosper and flourish.
And Jamie's got Superfoods, which we're going to come to in just a moment. The reason, Ruth, I'm a bit on edge. I'm a bit on edge because we've got, look, if you see outside here, we have a bike on standby. I mean, I say we haven't got it. There's me building everybody up. Jamie is about to become a dad for the fifth time. Have you found out what's causing that?
Causing what? The pregnancy? Well, it's a little efficient thing that I do.
Okay, right. But anyway, we have got a bike on standby just in case anything happens with wife. We have, seriously? But before all of that, you're in, it's Superfood Family Classics that we're talking about. Now, the very idea of Superfoods, what makes me want to go...
Oh, please.
He's such a kid, Jamie. Please sort him out.
Tofu, sweet potato, goat's milk. Anyway,
so
but
these are ingredients.
Better.
Go on.
Eggs, yes, I'll do that. Fish is a superfood. Greens, black beans, fresh fruit, seaweed, wild rice, garlic, prawns, and chilies.
Who was that?
Steve Dixon. Steve, would you go? I'm on air at the moment. It's Dr. Steve. We're on. If you look at your telly, I'm on. Do you not watch the television? OK, bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I would have loved to have spoken to him. Who is Steve?
Steve Dixon presents.
He's a news presenter.
Oh, News.
Yeah, anyway.
Bless him.
It'll be his day off. He'll have forgotten.
But tell me about Superfoods then, because they're more accessible than I thought.
I think over the last 10 years we've been focusing on, like, one ingredient that's a superfood, and that doesn't exist because no ingredient is the golden bullet. But the point of this, really, and actually the point of a recipe, is that you can cluster them together to make them incredibly nutritious meals.
Yeah, because this is family classics, isn't it? So this is... Because Eamonn's going like, ooh, it's quite hard sometimes to think of the whole family. You've got to please everybody. You don't want to be cooking individual meals.
The public struggle with what is good. Can please someone tell me what good is?
Yes.
So in the book, what it's only good. So every choice is a good choice. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything from tray bakes to family classics, salads, pastas, you know, roasts. We're taking things that are traditionally unhealthy, like mac and cheese and burgers, and even shepherd's pie and bits and pieces like that, and actually saying, how can you make it like indulgent or super nutritious? Yeah. So really, a superfood is not supposed to be apologising or worthy. It's actually just a delicious meal that is packed full of much more of the good stuff, giving your body the opportunity to fight disease and be optimal.
Say you took a classic kind of shepherd's pie. Are you adding something to that? Well, so say instead of using white potato, you use sweet potato.
What's really fascinating is actually if you look at the history of shepherd's pie, which was a derivative of cottage pie, and actually often with progress, is more higher meat consumption and more convenience, which actually generally drives ill health. Interestingly, shepherd's pie, Britain's brilliant at that, but actually if you're pushing the veggies a bit more and just slightly less meat and kind of getting the mix of topping, you can make it amazing.
But where you're brilliant, one of the amazing things is these schools, these teaching people to cook is at the essence, the core of everything you should be doing, and you know, it should just be essential in school to do that thing, and it's with you for life. Now the thing is, when Theresa May became Prime Minister, they did all these profiles on her, and she says, oh yes, I have a Jamie Oliver book in the kitchen.
Did she say that?
Yeah, she absolutely did.
That's a good sign.
Well, actually, she's got at least 100 cookbooks, so she's a woman who clearly either likes food or likes to cook. I can't wait to meet her. I mean, the moment right now. I mean, I had been working with the government on the sort of obesity strategy. And
then you got a bit of with them, didn't you?
Well, I think my job, I work for the public as far as I see it. So my job's to collaborate with them, but also be a pain in the backside. So we were getting quite close to it being released. And it was always going to be good, but that's not good enough. So it needs.
What will your message to Theresa May be?
Well, I believe that it's an amazing opportunity for her to show her steel as a bright, dominant, incredible Prime Minister, and boy, Britain needs to see that right now. Whoever you vote for, we need that right now. And I think there's nothing worse as an inspiration than child health and saving the NHS. And literally, the obesity strategy is an environmental bit of work, and everyone has to contribute.
Do you believe you have to get into schools when they're very young. My belief, and I'm not anywhere near as educated in these things as you, but I like to cook, is you've got to get them literally at primary school, and the kids almost end up educating the parents by saying, I want this. And so if you teach them to cook, hopefully they'll eat it, and then they'll be doing that with their children.
Kids are not genetically put on earth to obsess about burgers and nuggets. You know, they're marketed to very efficiently by big business, and I think that's why I say it's an environmental thing. So school, business, employers, supermarkets, labelling, frankly, honesty. Right? When you give the British public good, clear information, 9 times out of 10 they make great choices. The big food industry likes the public confused, and that means put stuff complicated round the back. You know, we will
call things like fructose and glucose.
There's like 46 different forms of sugar. You know, and I think also for 100 meals, I want to know how many teaspoons of sugar in that product. And funnily enough,
even a picture.
Well, one of the upsides of being out of Europe, I guess, is actually the reason I did a thing on Facebook where we showed how many teaspoons of sugar in each drink, and the public went mad. 10.5 million people in 3 days, and the reason we couldn't do that was because of EU law. So maybe there are or could be some upsides, but we'll see.
For more of the same, just click here.
Thing is, with a cake, what you want is when you're doing a cake, you want to stand back because it could. We'll do it slowly.
Is there any way of not making that just like that?
Just
I guess
do it slowly.
Do it really slowly.
Yeah.
I've done that with icing before and covered myself in it.
We've worn quite a lot of food on here, haven't we?
Yeah,
we have.
But isn't it lovely when it goes in the air and then you inhale?
Yes.
Oh, I love that. That's the best bit.